What's up, guys? It's Zachy J, and today we're going to be talking about a little thought experiment, right? What happens when a divine creature that has free will has to choose what to do with their time? Okay? What are they going to do, and why are they going to do it? So I wanted to think about this, right? Because the proposition is that you're a divine creature, that you have free will, and not only what are you going to do with it, right? Which is kind of a similar question to like, what is your purpose? But if I started from what is your purpose, that seems to vary. Everyone has a different purpose. Everyone has a different rhyme to their reason, you know? So what is your purpose was helpful, but I wanted to get to the base layer. So it was not what would you do with your time, it's why would you do the thing that you're going to do? What is the why behind it? Because for me, that seemed to be something that has a through line between us all, between every divine being with free will that is out there. So I had to figure it out for myself. And how was I going to do that, right? Was it going to take me sitting underneath a tree and meditation to figure this thing out? Am I have to look inwards? Well, that definitely did help. That you kind of have to do a little bit of that. You have to have the ability to see not just what's on the outside, but what's on the inside. And you need that ability because sometimes the way the world responds to you is information that you can glean that's coming through you, not from without. So yeah, you kind of need to do a little bit of that, but I was also reading a lot of books too. I was reading a ton of books because I wanted to know what other people thought. There was a lot of other people that were doing they were throwing their processing power. They're way smarter than I am. And they're all throwing their processing power on this thing because they have the same questions. Turns out other people want to know this stuff too, and they've been wanting to know it for a long time. For different time periods throughout history, people have been asking these questions because it seems to be pretty important that if you understand why a divine creature that has free will might choose to be here in the now, in the present, in this world, in this reality, that there just might be a huge comfort, a huge release, right? The burden of worry, the burden of fear. It seems to be the people that really answer this question correctly, they don't have a lot of fear left or anxiety. They seem to be pretty well adjusted. And if you read their works, you might realize that there are some things that make this place worth it, right? So before I even read those books, I was reading a lot of books, the ones that had similar answers to this thing I was going to think about, right? This concept I was going to think about. I would sit and ask myself questions and just kind of listen, because by the way, you can do that. I don't know if you know that, but you can listen to a response that is derived from within. Mm-hmm. You can propose questions to yourself. And don't believe me, well, just ask Carl Jung, because it's not coming just from me. It's not coming just from my own subjective experiences, but it seems to be that Carl Jung was writing about this very same phenomenon for a while. The fact that you can just listen within, and the fact that the within can gift you images, it can gift you dialogue, it can gift you answers, right? So what are you going to use those answers for? You're going to ask for to know about things in the outside world, or are you going to ask to know things on the inside world? Because for me, I was going to figure out how things work on the inside and then use that to apply to the outside. Get the foundation right first, right? So I'm deeply in thought about this thing, asking myself questions. Why is it that one divine being that's timeless, that has free will, why might they be here? Why might they be here now? Why would I choose to be here now? And the only answer that was actually satisfactory, if you run through it all, right? Let's go all through the negative permutations, because people are going to be some people are going to be nihilistic, right? They're going to be like, is there nothing matters, there's no meaning to it, nothing, you know what I mean? It's all just chaos theory and random particles and all smashing together and just creating something out of nothingness. You got these sorts of nihilistic perspectives, and then you have the pessimists who said, or even worse than that, they're just like, well, this is all tragedy. It's all Greek tragedy. Everything around us is just suffering. We've heard this before. It's all suffering. Right? Some sort of pessimistic approach, except they kind of never evolve from it, right? You can say something's suffering and still mature from that dynamic of hardship, right? You don't have to let the hardship define you, but you define the hardship and its relation to you, right? So I would think about these things and go through all these permutations and figure out that that just doesn't satisfy. This doesn't satisfy a reason. There has to be such a powerful reason that we would just throw our whole entire consciousness at such a problem like this life and at the end of it just know that we chose correctly, that no matter what happened, we chose correctly. We chose to live, and that was always the right choice. So why could that always be the right choice? Well, it just had to be one answer. That the base layer to everything, of the energetic base layer to everything that ever is, that ever was, that ever will be, all of that has to be derived from the highest source of satisfaction possible. The highest source. It would have to be that if you tasted that thing, if you tasted the highest source of satisfaction possible, you would get it. You know? Like water after being running through the desert. Like one glass of water after running through the desert, or a beautiful partner after endless sea of isolation, right? You see something like that and you just know that, oh, okay, there might be something that I'm missing, you know? I might have missed a little bit because there's some certain satisfactions that are so deep that we all keep talking about it. We all have words for it, and there is certainly more developed words for it in different languages than English, because English has like a little bit of a catch-all, right? You kind of have to define the term a little bit more if you want to use it properly. It has to be contextually driven, and that one's called love, right? So this base layer has to be this layer of love. What might that be, right? But in these other traditions, they call it something a little bit deeper. It's not just love. It's not a thing that's existing outside of you, right? I can love something that could be my love, and that's over there. No. This thing is bliss. It's Ananda. Ananda hum. Yes. Blissful souls, right? And this, at its base layer, makes sense. This, if you knew that by touching this place, you could have access to such a gift, what would you do for it? You know? Like Bobby Caldwell says, what would you do for love? Right? What I wouldn't do, I do for love. Yes, what would you do? And I'm pretty sure it's live as a divine being that has free will. You would choose to do it again and again because it's worth it. It's worth it to feel that embrace of coming home, right? The universe is inviting you back home. It's saying, come here, come hither. Come hither, it's time to be. It's time to be you present. It's time to be you present with the presence of bliss. It's time to be you present with the presence of bliss. For you to be radiating it. Even when times get hard, it's for you to be radiating it. Because that was always a part of your plan. The second you touch down on this place, that was a part of your plan. Yep. It is to rediscover this bliss. And the only way to experience it fully was to put yourself in the free will to experience it or to not experience it, to be or not to be. That is the question. but instead of doing it the pessimistic way like they did in Hamlet, where it's like to be or not to be, like to die, to unalive yourself or not to unalive yourself, it is to be in love or not to be. That was the true free will. And it's just when we lose sight of it, that's when it gets all dark and gloomy and tragic and Shakespearean, you know? And it's up to us as these divine creatures to not just know that, though. Because that was the easy bit. Is doing the mental gymnastics required to understand intellectually that just might be a very possible, realistic answer to the why, you know? That's not enough, though, because now you know that part. If you've done the thought experiment and you've checked all the other corners to see if that's an answer, if you've done that, now you have to take yourself to the next level, right? Because it just can't be this theoretical thing. You got to bring it into the actual play. You gotta step off the bench. You gotta embody the talent of being blissful, present. And it has to apply to all the scenarios. That's how you tell. That's the biggest heuristic that you got. You apply it to a scenario that's unfavorable to you, and how do you show up, right? Do you show up as the ego, the wanting, the craving, the desire? Or do you show up as your higher order self that just exudes the bliss? And it exudes bliss not from just the mind, but from the body too, right? Not just from the mind, not just from the body, but from the breath too. All three are just exuding. Yes, and if you're doing the exuding, then you are on the path. Because you got to do it, not, once you get used to it a little bit, now you got to do it a lot of bit, and more of it. You do it a lot of bit, you do more of it, and you just start like, packing it. A lot of it, more of it, just start packing it inside of it, right? All the way up inside of it is yours. It's your birthright. It just depends on if you want to go get it, right? And I think you have every means within you to go get it and have it permanently too. Not just a fraction, not a timeshare. It's not a vacation where you get a little bit and then you have to come back to the reality. No, if you establish yourself within, you get to have all of it. All of it, whenever you need it, however you want it. All of it. And that's why, for me, this experiment was super important for me to do. Because for me, I need to know where I'm going sometimes. Sometimes you can trust the universe, right? But sometimes you want to trust your own directional capacity, your ability to call your own shots, right? I want to call my shots. Hey, what's that? I'm going to call my shot. Bam. Right? I'm going to call that shot. And I wanted to be able to see deep enough with my ability to question myself and to question reality that I could also see these answers through, because it's the guess and check, right? We are sending answers out, we're pinging it off the universe, we're getting responses back, and for me, when I get that response back from the universe, I'm gonna be like, look, I'm gonna show up in a way that shows you that you can gift me more, gift me all of it. Keep sending messages my way, download again, I'm gonna do it because I'm gonna listen and I'm going to embody, I'm going to show up, and this will lead to further wisdom and further experiences and deeper questions, right? So yes, just have a little bit of this time, figure it out for yourself, ask yourself the same question. Don't take my word for it, right? But I know that that's the highest perspective that you can have. I mean, just show me a better one, and look, you show me a better one, I'll try that one on. We'll see, right? I'm down, but I know that the bliss that you have, that's contagious, the caring that you have for yourself and for this beingness and for this world and for the reason why you're here, that whole thing is going to show up when you realize it, and it's going to resonate with you and it's going to transform you. So Why not, right? Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Give me a like, subscribe, and share this if other people need to do the thought experiment too. And guess what? We're all sharing this consciousness together. So I'm making these videos so we can all make it a little bit better, a little bit of a better place. Okay. So I'll talk to you later and have a good rest of the day. Bye.